What is up, my fellow Chibits? Today, I'm here to bring all of you, once again, another anime review on Iron Fortress. It's been a while since I've talked about this series, since, last week it had kind of a brief break. This week, I'm here to talk about the latest episode, and damn, that fucking cliffhanger is a bitch. One thing I hate about good series, if there's one thing I hate, is that when you get so into a series, you want more. You want more of that content, but when an episode ends, it pretty much is like, fuck you, you're not getting any more, you wait till next week. And that's the one thing I hate about good series that are ongoing, because you want more. And that's how this episode was, because the cliffhanger of this episode was pretty nasty. I mean, I like the way we found out more about the Kabaneri and how, they need blood in the way we found out in this episode than just straight out exposition. Because it could have easily been done with, info dumping throughout this entire episode, but we were actually showed an example of what happens to someone if they're, half Kabaneri or whatever they're called, and, half human. We get to see exactly what happens, and how different they are. They eat blood, or they need blood, and if you don't have blood, you turn into pretty much a mindless walking zombie. So that was a really interesting way they kind of give us that information about them on the side of not really letting us know until the very end. So that's a really cool cliffhanger on that. But I will say, however, Mumei, I need to talk about your character real quick, okay? She's the type of character, she's a badass. Okay, straight up, she's a badass character. I loved her action scene in the first episode. Very fucking epic. Or last episode, not first episode, but last episode. I loved her action scene. It was great. But she's the type of character that clearly doesn't really know how to interact with others. She's very, I don't know the right word to put it, but she doesn't know how to interact with people around her or say the right things, because the way she acted in this episode wasn't something you should normally say in the situation you're pretty much being given. For instance, she's half zombie, half human. Obviously, people are going to look at her as if she's a monster regardless. Majority of people are going to be thinking whoa, can she spread that to me? Can I become half zombie? Am I going to get killed? You get my point here. So the general normal reaction of how everybody was reacting was kind of normal. It really was. That's the general human reaction to something that they don't understand. But the main thing is, the way she was acting, I don't know if it's because of previous experience that she's been through for her life, probably similar circumstances of people acting like they did, or maybe that's just her personality. But whatever the case may be, she's clearly not the best at giving instructions or telling people stuff, because our poor main male character, he was just pretty much backhanded by the lack of information thanks to Mumei in this episode, because, for one, when it came to the training process of how she's like, oh, you can be my shield, but she just continuously kicks the shit out of him. Oh my god, he gets his shit knocked in. And she didn't even really tell him anything. And then after that, he's thirsting for blood. He needs some blood because, he's going mentally crazy right now. So she could have easily said, oh, you may need some blood, or you could go crazy and bite some people, maybe spread the virus. This is the interesting thing about this episode, though, that I'm curious about, because it's not said at this time if someone can spread the virus if they are half zombie, half human, because that's not been explained yet. I'm going to assume that they're carriers, they're carriers of the virus, and if they were to bite someone else, they would get it and become a Kabaneri. And if that is the truth now, that's very dangerous, because that would mean that if the main character bites anyone, if he goes in his rage, insane fits, that would mean that he can infect them and kill them, accidentally. And that'd be kind of bad. That's very bad. Spreading the virus when you're not really wanting to spread the virus. But also, the next thing to wonder about is how a situation with a pregnant mother is handled. That's a question I'm curious about now, because the mother got infected in this episode. She's infected, she was transforming into a zombie, and she was pregnant with a child. And I'm curious exactly, how does this virus affect the unborn child? Will the virus attack the child, turn it into a Kabaneri, or will the virus not attack the baby? What exactly happens there? I'm curious about that. But also, if the baby is born some way, let's just do a hypothetical discussion here, okay? Let's say that the mother had the same treatment done to her that happened to our main character. How he got, you know, the neck brace around him and he stopped the virus from spreading to his brain. What would happen if the mother did that and the virus was still in the body? Would it affect the baby in any way? Would it? But even then again, though, is the baby even affected yet? I'm curious. I mean, if it works like any other viruses and bacteria and stuff, I'm going to assume it does. But I wonder if the baby will become some form of hybrid or something. I mean, I've seen a lot of anime and manga, and something like that can happen. So it's not entirely off the table. So definitely interesting discussion topic about this, you know, episode of Iron Fortress. So, back on topic to some of the main events of this episode. So, it's mainly how our main character is going to be fitting in as a human now, even though he's half zombie, half human, because, I mean, many people are looking at him as if he's a demon or some form of unholy creature that he needs to be put down. Majority of this episode was conflict towards that regard, and how our main male character is trying to show that he is human. So it was a really engaging episode. I liked it, and for the most part, it was something that got me pretty hyped up for next week's episode. I can't wait to see where it's going to go, because, I mean, is the main character, obviously he's going to get his sanity back. I'm willing to bet he will. I don't think he's going to die. But will the main male character, can he, like, spread the virus to others? That would be kind of crazy, but we'll see. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.